An opportunistic and much welcomed mini holiday. However, the business owners and the annual Easter period, its string of back-to-back public holidays, can present sleepless nights due to associated business interruption and the significant impact this time off can have on the turnover. Christo Botes of the Business Partners Limited says that this time of the year can be a nightmare for any business, as various aspects of the company are affected by intermittent breaks in trade. He now joins us in the studio. Thank you very much for coming to News Today.
Good day, Colin, and also to your viewers.
Yeah, it has been interpreted that during this time of the year, business peaks for certain sectors of a business in the society. We can make an example of a petrol station on the N1 highway where people would stop over and buy some niceties and fill up their petrol tanks. That's business for them. But on the downside, what have you observed regarding the effect of the Easter holidays on such businesses?
Yeah, you see, Colin, for instance, manufacturing businesses, they have to close because they don't have passing trade. Their people wants to take the holidays that's allocated to them, and so their productivity is down quite a bit. And we know that even the Reserve Bank publication of the last quarter said that our productivity is down. So we need to up our productivity. So how do you deal with these holidays? It is very well if we consider that if you up your production in the months that there's no holidays, and you actually plan ahead and be ready for the slowdown during the public holidays, then it would affect you less. But remember, your creditors still needs to be paid. You still need to stock up. You still need to pay the salaries. And you don't have the turnover. So it's important that you plan ahead and actually have your cash flow ready for this period where the sales are a little bit down. With some companies, the sales are quite a bit up, but have they stocked up properly? So if that example of yours, if they run out of fuel because they haven't stocked up properly, then they also have problems, And
let's look at coping strategies for small businesses who cannot keep up with the demand, especially during the time when you have an influx of people from out of town coming to demand a product that is only produced at certain limits.
Yeah, that's the key, that you actually plan and stock up. In other words, you increase your stock levels so that you can meet the demand at that time. If you cannot meet the demand, the shopper goes by, go to the next place, and you lose it, and you create a bad name for yourself. So it's important that you get lines of credit with your suppliers and even with your bank, so that you can stock up and that your stock levels is up at this time of the year when there's an influx of people or a passing by trade, and then when the season goes down, your stock levels is down again.
What are the technical interventions to make up for the turnover that has been affected on the downside? And more so that you have alluded to the fact that you still have to pay your creditors and you also need to to pay staff.
Yeah, luckily we know about these holidays way ahead of time, so one can plan, but often there's VAT that needs to be paid every 2 months. There's the creditors that every month is waiting, and your people wants their salary to be paid and the wages. So yes, you must plan your cash flow, and if your cash flow is tight, you must speak to your bank manager, preferably ahead of time, not run into the problems and then speak to them.
But remember, certain companies have targets. If they have a quarterly target from January to March, there will be an interruption. So another thing is the leadership skills that is needed as far as HR is concerned. Some people want to take leave because they need to go to church, but yet you as the business owner, you need to meet those targets. Productivity must be consistent.
Agree. That's exactly. So you must engage with your people. That's one of the most important things is communicate with your people. Tell them that, listen, we are going into a peak season or we are going into a down season, and you can take a mini holiday now. I give you 3 extra days and then you've got 10, 11 days as a holiday. We are scaling down. Take your leave now. But those businesses that's really thriving at this time, and you need all the people at the job, and incentivize them. Give them days off later on when the peak season is down.
So we know that during this time of the year, some business owners will be smiling all the way to the bank. But do you think that public holidays that are back-to-back are a nightmare for private and small businesses?
It is often a nightmare, especially those that live from hand to mouth, because then planning cannot help you, because you are running so tight. Your turnover is just making you get through with paying all the bills, paying your salaries, etc. So yes, that is it's a crunch time for the entrepreneur, and that is what it is all about. Entrepreneurship is not a play in the park, but it is very rewarding if you grind it out and you really are believing in your business, believing in your abilities, and you take your people with you in this, and you can actually make up your turnover at a time when there's not so many holidays.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that insight on how companies can improve their turnover during the holiday season. Yes. All right. That Mr. Christo Botes from Business Partners Limited, hoping that this interview will have some business operators out there to learn coping strategies during these holiday times.